Title: Whispers in the Shadows. The small town of Ashwood was nestled between dense woods and an endless stretch of moorland. Its history was steeped in folklore, but one story continued to send shivers down the spines of its residents: the tale of the Rake. Locals whispered that it was a gaunt, pale creature with long, bony fingers and sunken eyes, prowling at the edges of the forest and drawing its victims into the night. 17-year-old Mia, an adventurous spirit with an insatiable curiosity, often rolled her eyes at superstitions. She was the type of girl who scoffed at warnings, dismissing the Rake and its legend as a relic of fear-mongering bygone eras. But that all changed the day her little brother, Noah, went missing. This wasn't the typical disappearance of a child who wandered off. The townsfolk were frantic. A search party combed through the town, the woods, and the moor, but as night fell, their hopes dwindled. Mia's gut twisted. She had always shared a bond with Noah, a bond that made her intuitively aware of his moods, his fears. And now, a sinking dread settled in her chest. Determined to find Noah, Mia returned to the woods, the very place her parents had warned her never to enter. The old tales echoed in her mind but were soon eclipsed by her fear for her brother. Armed with a flashlight, she stepped into the dark. The trees loomed ominously around her, twisting as if trying to grasp at the light she carried. She called for Noah, her voice trembling with every syllable. The deeper she ventured into the forest, the thicker the silence became, as if the trees were absorbing her words. Suddenly, a rustling sound broke the stillness, pulling her attention. The hair on her neck prickled as she turned the beam of her flashlight toward the source. Briefly illuminated, she caught a glimpse of something lurking behind a tree. A fleeting shadow that was too still, too pale. "Is that you, Noah?" she called, though the tremor in her voice betrayed her fear. No response came, only a whispering wind that seemed to carry her brother's name. Following the sound, Mia felt drawn deeper into the shadows, past the underbrush and into an unsettling clearing. It was then that she noticed something grotesque. A mound of leaves and earth, as if something had disturbed the ground recently. Panic set in. "Noah?" she shouted again. "Please, answer me." But only silence answered her. It was deafening. An icy shiver crawled down her spine, and she turned to leave, yet the winding path behind her had vanished. The trees, now seemingly sentient, twisted into a maze, trapping her in their grasp. Then, she saw it. Rising from the shadows, the Rake stood before her, its elongated form stretching unnaturally, limbs hanging like withered branches. Sunken, black eyes gazed into her soul, devoid of warmth or mercy. Its mouth opened, revealing jagged teeth that glistened faintly even in the darkness. "No," Mia shouted, stumbling back. She turned to run, heart racing, but the forest felt alive. Branches clawed at her clothes, and dark tendrils of mist snaked around her wrists, tugging her backwards. Each step felt heavier than the last, as if the very soil sought to claim her. The Rake's chilling laughter echoed through the trees, wrapping around her like a cocoon of terror. "Mia, Mia," a voice hissed, low and mocking. It was a cruel mimicry of her brother's voice. "Noah!" she screamed, desperation fueling her panic. The sound morphed into an ungodly shriek, and she fought against the oppressive grip of the trees. With each ounce of strength, she broke free, blowing past the thick fog that obscured her vision. Mia sprinted, following a narrow beam of light that flickered in the distance. She raced toward it, tears streaming down her face, lungs burning, until she burst out from the darkness into the open moor. The stars were bright above her, the moon casting a silver glow. But she could feel the Rake behind her. She could hear its breath, soft and jagged, whispering promises of despair. "You cannot escape me," it taunted. Mia pushed forward, refusing to look back, summoning every bit of energy left in her. Finally, she spotted the town's edge. Her heart soared, but a chilling grasp suddenly seized her ankle. She fell, tumbling to the ground, and glanced down to see skeletal fingers entwined in her flesh. The last thing she heard was Noah's voice, faint but clear. "Mia." In a final surge of desperation, she tore herself away from the grip, breaking free. She scrambled up and sprinted towards the lights of the town. The Rake's furious howl reverberated in her ears as she burst onto the main street, tumbling into the arms of the bewildered town sheriff. They searched the woods again, the townspeople rallied, but they found nothing. Noah was still lost, and the rake returned to its lair, hunger poised and waiting for its next victim. Mia never spoke of that night, but she carried the whispers in her heart, a warning that had become too real. The rake, it turned out, was more than just a story. It was a reminder of the darkness that lurked just beyond the reach of light, forever waiting to pull someone into the depths of its malevolence.